Okay, great. Hey, we're live. Let's roll. Hey, it's the December 11th, 2024. So we've only got a few more of these meetings left for this year. I'm your host, Lee Calcote. It's been a while since I've hosted, so I'm a little rusty and not overly friendly towards Yatin, apparently. But keep trying, Yatin. Keep going, man. Anyway, we're gonna have ourselves a meeting. We're gonna cover items inside of the meeting minutes. So here's a link to the meeting minutes. Anyone that's here can and should drop their name into the attendees list. So a link to the meeting minutes is in the Zoom chat. To get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way, I'll say that Meshery is a CNCF project, a Cloud Native Computing Foundation. So we adhered to the Cloud Native Computing Foundation's code of conduct. Treat each other well. And we're streaming to YouTube, so don't say anything that you wouldn't want your mom to hear. We have a tradition to introduce, to get to know everybody that's on the call. So in the best of ways, we make it really awkward for anyone who's joining this meeting, the Meshery development meeting, for the first time. You get a chance to say hi and just introduce yourself to folks so that you can get better acquainted and they can get better acquainted with you. So our lucky winner might be Toba. Do you want to say hi to everybody and just introduce yourself real fast?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. My name is Oluwatoba Maribo, and software engineer with more than 7 years experience. So I'm pretty new to the project. Just trying to get, to understand how the project works and also to learn along the process. So nice to be here.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, Toba, that's very good. Toba was just educating me this week. The Toba, just so that everybody else can learn maybe a little bit. If I recall, the first part of your name, Olu, is did you say that what's the right word? The etymology of Olu is that it means God is king. Is that right?
Yes. So I'm from Nigeria, and so we have a tribe which is Yoruba, and in Yoruba, so we tend to name ourselves in our language, which means so Oluwatoba means God is king. So I did was explaining, to Lee that I cannot bear, so we're trying to look for like the short form to call the name. So I cannot bear Olu or Olua because it means God, right? So and it's not expected like we bear, God. So that's why I sort of picked the last four. So I mean, to make it easier, you could just call me Toba.
Nice. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I didn't know that. So Toba for short for Oluwatoba. Although if you can say Oluwatoba, it's a bit more fun.
And stressful.
Yeah. Yeah. Give your tongue a little bit of a workout. That's good. All right. Good. Well, we've got some other folks who might be on the call for the first time. Ahmed, Hendawe, are you here for the first time?
Yeah, it's my first time.
Oh, good. Ahmed, you don't have to tell us the etymology of your name, but you just want to say hi and say where you're calling in from, kind of what brings you here?
Yeah, my name is Ahmed. I'm a recent computer engineering graduate, and I just started my career in cloud native, and I found this opportunity a good start for me uh, to keep going.
Nice. Yeah, very good. So it's not exactly just Ahmed, but it's say your first name again for me.
Ahmed,
Okay. Very good.
it's an
Ahmed.
Arabic name.
Ahmed. Very good. Who else do we have that's new on the call and wants me to mispronounce their name?
Also the first time
Oh, there he is.
being here. I'm Wady, also call me Lawrence. I just graduated and entered into my career, and I want to learn about Go and Cloud Native. So I get to know this project and want to be a part of it. Yes. Thanks.
Nice. Wei-Li, that's great. Are you based on the East Coast in the US? Is that right? If I recall?
Yeah, I'm in North Carolina.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Did things still smell smoky over there from the fires and Southern?
I can feel it here. Maybe I'm in the countryside, so everything is good here.
Okay. All right. Good. You're all safe. Yeah. Good. Good. It's some good country. Okay. And then do we have anyone else that's hasn't had a chance to introduce previously? Or do we have anyone who's here that has introduced before but just wants to say hi again? Nice. So by the way, Tawal, Tawal, T-A-I-W-O. Tawal, you've been on this meeting before, I'm pretty sure. But I wouldn't mind a refresher if you don't mind. Can you say hi one more time? Tewo.
I'm Ali.
Hey, there he is. Oh, very good. Remind me where you coming? Where are you based physically?
Lagos.
Oh,
Lagos, Nigeria.
yep. Okay, got you.
Yeah. I Uluwatoba.
Oh, okay.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Fine. What part of country are you from? Your surname? Aribo.
Yes. I'm a Yoruba.
Yeah, but the surname though.
Oh, what it means?
The Aribo, your surname. I don't know what part of the country you are from.
Oh, from Ondo State. From Ondo State.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Nice having you here today.
Yeah, thank you. Nice
All
to
right. Welcome to the team.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, awesome. Oh. All right, good. Hey, let's dig on in. There's a few people who are either maintainers or who are just routinely here. A couple of them are out. So we've got KubeCon India, the first KubeCon India happening this week. So there's a couple of Meshery maintainers that are there physically. Sudhanshu Dasgupta and Yash Sharma, I think they're both there. Yash Sharma, he actually brought back a bunch of feedback yesterday from interest that a number of others have shown in Meshery. And so he was just answering a bunch of questions, and he was letting us know what those questions were. So it'd be great if Abid or Sangram or others that have access to his questions, maybe you guys could share those in the Meshery channel. I think it would be interesting. It's great feedback for anyone who spends time contributing to Meshery. It's always nice to hear from just people who are using Meshery and not necessarily code contributing, but are contributing through using. It's always good to hear what their questions are. Okay. A couple of folks, yeah. And then Ankita's sick, actually. You all might want to reach out to her. She's in the hospital right now. Okay. Hey, we sort of have an announcement today, and that is it's time to make the .8 release, Meshery .8. So we're going to talk, and unfortunately, not only am I your host today, but also I'm going to talk to you a lot about Meshery.8, or Meshery v0.8 and Meshery v0.9. We've got planning to do. We've got things to tie off on the release, and then we've got planning to do on v0.9. And we're going to spend a lot of time on it on the call. So let's start. Let's dig in right now. I don't think that we have Ian. We don't have. You're not tracking the UI migration by chance, right?
No, I haven't been tracking that. I think I've been on some reviews, but I haven't been tracking it.
Okay, got you. So I don't think that we have other folks on that for these items. So I'm gonna go past those. We're gonna go right into, well, this document. So we're in December right now, in case any of you forgot what month it is. It's December. Last December, 2023, this document was created by one of our maintainers, Pranav Singh. So Pranav's a graduate student right now. Oh no, he's not. He's in his 5th year right now. So he'll be, anyway, he's still active in the community. He stepped down from his maintainer role, but he's still active in the community. He's been working on a plugin. Anyway, he created this page, and we've been updating it as we go. We talked about this page last week, and we talked about this page the week before. So maybe this week is the last week that we look at this particular status. So this is Meshery v0.8. It's time. We're ready. We've been ready for a while. So we've been working on this thing for, yeah, if you can do the math, let's see, 1 year. My goodness, holy moly. Is that right? Let's just take a quick look. What was the release date of v07? Here's a bit of trivia for you all. One way to go look that up is to go to the CNCF devstats, cloud native devstats. So devstats.cncf.io. This is a collection of all the CNCF projects and a digest of their GitHub activities. That's really like, and it's a very large collection of just events, activities, contributions, contributors across all the projects. And so this particular page is for Meshery. So all of these reports here are all the contributions that have happened against any of the Meshery repos. This one, GitHub events, one of the events that gets tracked is a release or a major release. I thought they were annotated better. These. Okay, I should have looked this up before. My apologies. I just wanted to confirm that really it was like a year ago that we did .7. Is that right? Let's see. If there's an overview page, that would be fast. Come on. Okay, overall project statistics table. That looks promising, except it's not a chart. So, all right, never mind. Anyway, we got a lot of stars out there. Not all the stars happen on the main repo. Just FYI. Let's just assume it's been about a year. It's been about a year. That's too long for us to go between releases. It becomes harder and harder to make a release. Sort of the longer that it goes on. The longer that it goes on, the more that the more that is inside of a release to document and prepare and make sure that we've got all aspects of it taken care of. So how do we best facilitate this for everyone? There's at least one blog post that needs to be written and released this week, since we'll be releasing .8 this week. That blog post would go out on Meshery.io, on the blog out there. Any of you that would like to participate in that, you're welcome to. There are loads of features to call out and kind of include in that release, in that blog post. So for lack of anyone else initiating it, I'll go initiate or actually, if any of you want to open up an issue right now on the Meshery.io repo, just saying that there needs to be a .8 blog post, that'd be great. Other people we can kind of organize around that issue. Really, the things that we would be highlighting in that release announcement, that release blog post, are just a summarization of things that have a green check mark in here. So that's one activity. And, the next activity is to start planning for the .9 roadmap. This is a blank page, basically. Largely what we do is take, to start what that plan looks like, there are two things that get done. One is we generally take things that were undone from our prior release, move them over. We want to revalidate, though, that those are aligned with our overall direction and heading. What is the project's overall direction and heading? Oh, that's a great question. It is, that can be articulated in a number of different ways. One of the ways to articulate it is here. So it's been quite a while since this has been updated, and I believe this is largely still accurate. Like, it hasn't had a ton of changes over time. We've been largely oriented towards the same vision as a project. So if we cruise down, sort of take a look at where we're at. So of the releases that are being published currently, they are within the .7 series. And so the latest release is V07 something. Did we accomplish these items? These items are a summarization of what you would find out here. Go back where that. Yeah. It's in the .8 timeframe. There's a big release to start with, so we got a long list. I guess I didn't update status here. We've largely been tracking it in the discussion forum. There are some things that were incomplete, like these, that for my part, I would suggest they get moved to the .9 release. Okay, some of you are wondering, well, hey, that sounded like a proposal, Lee. Yeah, well, hey, what's the process for making that proposal? And like, when is it appropriate for people to vote on that or suggest something different? Or it's kind of here and now. We're not making a decision and finalizing what's in the next release. We're just drafting it. So in draft mode, everybody's welcome to express an opinion and suggest features that should go in, or tech debt that should be paid off. So, please don't be shy. Going back to this roadmap, this is what we were asking ourselves before is, hey, what is that general direction and heading? How do we know what we should include in the next release? I said, undone things from here, but also if you look toward what that vision has been and where we're attempting to get to, what would be in those next releases? Well, this is where you go to look. There's one significant architectural component that sort of stands in between where we are now as a project and the 1.0, the big 1.0. There's that architectural component is a workflow engine. Meshery certainly does orchestration. It doesn't have a dedicated workflow engine internally, though, a dedicated orchestration layer. mean, how should I say this? It does, yeah, like I said, it does orchestration. It's not super well written. No, that's not how to say it. I'm take that back. It's written fine, but it needs an overhaul. It needs a much more robust workflow engine. So that's one significant architectural component between where we are now and where we would get to a 1.0. There are some other things like upgrading our support for Material UI. We're on a really old version, MUI 4. We've been trying to get to MUI 5. MUI 6, I think, is already out or has been out. So this is some of that more tech debt that we need to catch up on. Anyway, probably the easiest way to facilitate comment and to help shape and craft the .9 release and what it looks like is, well, is for us to get a draft out, send it to the mailing list, the developers at Meshery.io mailing list, and to help get the discussion going here and going in that mailing list. So if you are or you don't, if you're not on the mailing list and you'd like to be, or if you're not sure if you are, when you go to the Meshery site, Meshery.io, you can go to Meshery.io/subscribe if you like. There are 4 or 5 mailing lists sort of listed here. So the developers one is probably where we'll facilitate the discussion of more of the roadmap. So this is a good one to be on. Some of you might, or many of you might already be on it, but okay. Well, what questions and thoughts do you all have on either .8 and how we're finishing it off and releasing it, or .9 and how we're preparing for what it will look like and how long that might take? As you think about it, I'll point out that one of the ways that the project is organized is by GitHub issue. And we don't always, but the maintainers certainly try to categorize each issue in a few different ways with different labels. But one of the ways is to assign it a milestone. And this particular milestone, V0.8, is the release that we're talking about making. If you look at whether or not we're ready, according to all of the open issues that are assigned to this milestone, we've either got a lot more work to do, or we need to make the decision that these open issues are being rescheduled for a later milestone. And so I'll be asking for help from other maintainers to go through and make that determination. And actually that's me asking for help from other maintainers to go do that right now. So there's a link to the V0.8 milestone. So even if you're not a maintainer, you're certainly all welcome to express opinion and to make comments and to ask questions on any of these issues. So do it. By the way, that is how people become a maintainer, is they show up, they ask questions, they help, and they keep showing up. And eventually, we've got no choice. We need to recognize them as a maintainer. We need to recognize the fact that this is a meritocracy, that Meshery is built by those that show up. Whether it's to a meeting, I mean, show up proverbially, I mean, show up to the project and help the project. So, okay, I'll pause. Comments, thoughts, questions, things that I missed on .8 or .9?
So I've got a couple of things.
Yeah.
Sangram here.
Yeah.
What about, so again, open to suggestions. So what does everyone think about probably setting a duration for a certain release, like usually open source projects have? So maybe let's say, or is it already like we typically take a year for the next release, or maybe make it something like 6 months, prioritize um, what's important for the next release based on the feedback that we've received so far. Maybe put a tag to it in the issues and push them towards the next release. So maybe do it every 6 months, or maybe you set it to 1 year. I guess that sometimes the deadline helps. A certain upcoming release date helps in pushing things. Again, based on my experience. But yeah, I mean, it'll be good to know what others think about it. And those issues that you mentioned about, I guess, to select the ones that would make for 09, maybe prioritizing them based on the feedback that we've received and the features that customers or prospects have repeatedly highlighted would be a way to get some of the important ones out to 0.9, for example, something around security or maybe better collaboration, things like that.
I'm with you. Others have comments on what Sangram is proposing?
I think it makes sense to have the deadlines for next day and prioritizing based on that. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I remember, I think like we had put something like this 8-9 months for the previous one, like for the .8 release. Like I think we had said something like that. Soft deadline.
Yeah. Hey, I'm bringing up the Meshery docs. The inside of Meshery docs is a whole section on contributing and to the various components and sort of how the project works. And certainly these docs sometimes change as we go. And I haven't read this recently, and so, but I'm just anticipating maybe this is something to update these statements here. So there's a section on the release cadence. So, and what's written is minor releases of the Meshery project are released frequently on a monthly basis on average. So this already does need to be updated. But with patch releases made on demand in between those times. So the project does not have long-term releases that are sustained with bug fixes yet. Bug fixes and patches will be released as needed on the latest version. Okay. There are some qualifying, there's much to be, that's not said here, probably. There's much to kind of qualify and to help reinforce what Sangram was just saying, which is like deadlines help. And I was saying earlier on the call, hey, the larger a release is, the more difficult it can be to like to complete it and announce it and move it forward. So, and the more there is to coordinate, the more people and the more moving parts and things. So, yep, there's some leadership that we need here with respect to articulating that, to proposing a bit of to refactoring the schedule, because I don't know that this verbiage has changed over the last 5-ish years since it was written. So like it needs updated. We also, like if you go according with the letter of what semantic versioning is, we've only done 7 minor releases. We're at v0.7, and technically, if you're using semantic versioning nomenclature, then it's 7 minor releases. For those of you who've been around for any amount of time, you're aware that there are Meshery releases made all the time. They are patch releases. So patch releases, the statement here still stands. It's like as and when on demand as needed to fix bugs and to, release new smaller features. We have yet to have semantic versioning makes it a little bit difficult to speak to these things because we've yet to have a major release. That's a really weird thing to say, but according to semantic versioning, we haven't had a major release. The first major release would be V01 or V1 rather. That said, you also know that, well, our minor releases, our .7, our .8, our .9, they're massive. I mean, if we worked on .8 for a year, it's a mouthful. So in essence, those are major releases, and that's how we treat them. So some of what I just said, we would do really well to articulate that here, or to capture that. So as we discuss release, like that, there is process and procedure to do about how to make one, and there's a release manager role that's needed for folks to fulfill. So yeah, there's lots to do. Sangram, thanks for that. Anybody else have thoughts, or Sangram, do you have others, or anybody else have comments on .8, the prioritization?
No, those were all.
Prioritization that you were saying makes total sense.
Yeah, this is just to ease out in selecting, what we want to bring into .9, and kind of also helps understand the amount of effort that is required on each of those issues, and get more of those important ones finished first, and then we'll get to the other ones.
Yeah. So to Sangram's point, part of how the features or the tech debt is written down here is like, hey, these are is by functional area, and then by specific items, specific goals, and then some things are listed as a stretch goal, or like as a way of signaling priority. Anyway. Okay, good. Well, hey, that's the topic of the .8 release. I think we're into our next topic. Good. Do we have this individual on the call? I don't know that we do. Tamagana? I don't know.
No, he's not here.
Okay. And Adil?
I can't see him either.
Okay. I think that brings us up to you, Mr. Whaley. Sorry, Whaley. Yeah.
Can I talk about my view here first, because I was invited to the call, but I was unable to make it, so it's been stale for a month.
Sounds good. Yeah, please do. Do you want to share your screen and walk through it?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And so, Lawrence, you're gonna be sharing. Good deal. All right. Your screen is there. We can see it.
Can you? Okay. So it's this PR. It basically improves the error code. So I found that this two functions don't have the probable cause and suggested permutation. So I added like some of them. I added them accordingly, and I also found that there's some typos of the callings of like these functions, and also like previously there's this particular part generates some binaries that it's available like was wait. Let me show you. So, like generate something like this, and I modify them to be inside past the pattern ID, and this is basically the PR.
Yeah, nice. Good. Do other people have comment for?
Actually, I have just one question. I'm not sure, like, should these be defined in like meshkit as like those meshkit errors that were like to be, so these can be reused, the specific errors that you created?
Oh, sorry, can you say it again?
Yeah, like the two errors that you had created about, like, I think these might be defined, like can be defined inside meshkit, so then they are reusable, like the same error.
So these two should
Yeah.
Should be defined in Meshery. Is it what you're saying?
Yeah. I'm saying like should this be in meshkit? Because we have those meshkit errors. I don't like. I'm not exactly
Yeah,
sure. Like.
yeah. So
You
whether
can comment on it.
yeah, whether he's Abid isn't. He's really just asking a genuine question, just to make sure that a common oversight that we have is like creating errors and describing them, but not doing so in a Meshkit compatible way. Because the Meshkit being that centralized library that many of the or all of the Meshery components use, and you're using it right here. Like these functions are Meshkit based functions, and this is great. I'm not to Abid's question. I'm not sure that. I think it's okay that these errors are here. It might be that there's some reusability that we would get if these very specific errors, lack of connectivity between Meshery server and the provider, we might find some reusability or that they get reused if they're included in Meshkit. But they may also defining them here locally to Meshery server isn't wrong unto its own. I think Abid was just kind of asking just to double check, like, hey, just in case other components might run into the same thing. It's actually in this specific example, it's largely Meshery server and the remote provider. So like, it's probably okay that it remains in Meshery server. And to me, the enhancements that you've made for, well, first of all, yeah, the error codes, the lines in red, that's our current error code. When Meshery server is not able to post data to a provider, it just says not very much, and it's not super helpful. It says unable to post data to the provider. But what you've done is taken it and made it like you've explained it to people who might be running Meshery, so that they can actually see well, a better description of what's going on and the suggested remediations that you've included, that's quite helpful. It isn't always evident. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to Sangram earlier today. I was having some networking challenges, and it isn't always evident that maybe it's not just that the network is down, but that there's rate limiting happening. And so, yeah, you've, in your suggested remediations, you've pointed out a couple of things, like you might be rate limited or your quota might have been exceeded. That's great. You know, like, this is really helpful. So to me, that makes, yeah.
Uh-huh.
To me, that makes a lot of sense. Also, the other issue that you fixed here, the other bug that you fixed here, I think, is to help ensure that when someone is seeing an error log from Meshery server, that they're not seeing binary gibberish, but rather they're seeing actual text. And so that's the other change that you've made here. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Good. Well, yeah. Good. And you have to feel, and somebody is wanting to talk to Lawrence while we're wanting to talk to him. So good, Lawrence. I think we have a winner, man. I think the feedback that you've gotten so far is really positive. There's one thing, Lawrence, that just maybe as a personal favor to me, you see on line 2165 or 2160. You see how it says designs it says successfully deleted from remote provider. That the word successfully is just, it adds more confusion. It just adds confusion and doesn't clarify. If we could just eradicate that word from the code base, and I'm being serious, if we could eradicate it from use everywhere, that'd be really,
Okay. So just remove successfully.
yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everywhere, like
Yeah.
in this file.
In every error message that we have, every not just error message, any successful, any like positive message that we're sending back to the user, or everywhere. I mean, everywhere, like the entire code base.
Okay.
Like,
I'll go check and yes, fix this.
oh, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be helpful.
So just like add it to this PR, or I need to like create another PR about this successfully work.
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't think you can go wrong. You could either make that change and include it here in this pull request, or you could do a new one. Well, how do you know when to do what? Like, I'll say it like this, that the larger the pull request is, the more there is to review, and naturally, the longer it might take to review that and to get it merged. So the smaller the PR, the less risk, the easier to review, but sometimes if you're trying to get a bunch of small PRs and they're all really related, it might make more sense to, you end up just having to use your judgment. And in this case, I think, either way would work. Like,
okay. Okay.
That's great. So then you have a different PR, I think, another one to take a look at.
Oh yeah.
And that one has to do with the fact that as a project, Meshery uses Golang 1.21. But needs to be upgraded.
Oh yeah, it's this one. I mean, I'm just figuring out because I don't have the experience of upgrading the Go version, so I now change the Go version of the in the workflows file, the Docker file, and the make file. And this is what I've done so far. And is the next step is to test everything still works, or like I'm not pretty sure about this.
Yeah, I mean, you're approaching it correctly. When the PR that you've opened that we're looking at right here, it's really helpful because the checks that get run, the 10 checks that get run against this pull request, they should be using the new version that you've specified. And so whether or not those tests are passing or failing is like a solid indicator as to whether or not, you know, the update was successful. So one check has to do with signing commits, so that, okay.
Yeah.
So you can handle that one. So that's good. That's one that will be easily out of the way. I think there were 2 that had failed. By the way, just of all of the updates that need to be done to Meshery as a project for where it uses Go, there are 9 or so Meshery adapters, or 10 maybe. Each of those need to be updated as well from 121 to 123. And so they don't all have to be done in unison. It's okay that these individual components aren't necessarily built with the same Golang. That's okay. But the Meshery adapters and Meshkit, the Meshery operator, MeshSync, like those other components, so this is great. Like Lawrence, you're doing great, man. This is, you're on your way. One thing that you want to make sure that you're accounting for is that central library that each Meshery component uses, that library called Meshkit. It'll probably be the linchpin to this process. If you, in some respects, starting there and making sure that Meshkit is updated, then locally you can have a Golang 123 compiled Meshkit, and have that, make that locally available to your Meshery server repo or to your Meshery repo, and then build with a newer version of an upgraded Golang version from Meshkit as well. Just because it's it has so many functions that are used in Meshery server and across the other. Something that it took me a while to learn was like if Meshkit is its own repo and you make a change there and you need for that change to be used by one of the components like Meshery server, and you need for that change to be used, but the change that you've made inside of Meshkit has yet to be released. So it's not like you can just point to the new version of Meshkit because it hasn't been released yet. So how do you get those new changes of Meshkit into Meshery server? Right. I don't know if that's something that you've tackled already.
No. So I need to upgrade the version of Meshkit first.
Yeah. Or alongside it, like, yeah. The 2 might need to go hand in hand, like the upgrade of Golang and Meshkit to.
Okay.
I'll, remind me, but I'll give you an example of how to modify your go.mod to use an unreleased version of Meshkit. That way you can upgrade the Golang version of Meshkit locally on your machine, and then tell Meshery server, the Meshery server that you're building on your machine, to refer to your new and improved local Meshkit. That way you can build Meshery server while it's using the upgraded Meshkit that has yet to be released.
Okay.
Yeah. but you're headed in the right path. It's good of you to have opened up the pull request because of those checks that then start to run and you start to validate that 1.23 is compatible. I think that's the right thing.
What about like these other
Yeah.
repos? Do I need to upgrade them as well?
All of, yep. Your GitHub profile is just gonna have green dots all over it. Because because each of the adapters, like the only repo, there's only a couple of repos that don't need the Golang upgrade, like Meshery.io, oh, actually I take it back. Meshery.io, it's a website, it's Jekyll based, it's just a static content website. Actually, it has a Golang program in there for the way in which Meshery integrates with Artifact Hub. It's a super small Golang program, but it would need to be updated as well. They don't all have to be done concurrently. Like it's okay that Golang program stands alone, but as a project, we do ultimately want to make sure all componentry, all Golang based aspects of the project are, same version, same.
But update the mesh kit first and do a local test with the Meshery server.
That's the meat of it. Like, yeah, that's the bit.
Got it. I'll do that.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you, Lawrence. I'll drop a link to that small script that I was talking about in Meshery.io, just so you don't have to go hunt it down. But
thank you.
Oh yeah. Anybody else have feedback for Lawrence? Comments? Anybody else? Is anyone else working on the Golang upgrade?
So I was just checking it out and I found that BR and I didn't want to interrupt his work, so I guess I just leave it, right?
There's plenty of that work to go around. Like, if you were to grab maybe like the Linkerd adapter, the Meshery Linkerd adapter, there are 9 more adapters outside of that to upgrade. So A, I think Lawrence could use the help, and B, there's a specific adapter that you could start with. And then if you guys just, if you're successful with that one, Ahmed, then you could go to the next adapters because they should all be pretty similar. Does that sound like a plan? Would that work?
Yeah, I can do that.
Nice. Good. Okay. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Ahmed, if you'd like to just make a small comment that you'll get started on the Linkerd adapter on the open issue, that might help facilitate part of the coordination, just, of tracking who's doing what.
Yeah, okay.
Nice. All right. Good. All right. So next up, we got, is AJ, are you with us?
Sorry, I might need to leave now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, Lawrence, he has to go. Okay, good. Got it. Kaif, I think you're up. You've got a responsive data table to talk about.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So actually, I was working on this issue where someone has created that if we use the assistant component, which is nothing but the responsive data table, so it has some sort of props, something like columns and uh, date table columns. So here we have like column, which is actually the required props that should be passed, and the table column, it's the optional path. So the table columns, so specifically both the column, like both the tables have the same, like the prop type is same, and specifically the data column which has been passed, that has been rendered in the MUI table specifically, and it's actually the same for the column itself. So the problem though was, if someone passes the columns and not passes the table columns, it actually breaks up as it has been shown in the okay. So as it is been shown, like if we pass the column and does not pass the data column, it actually breaks, and we did not see any table out there. So it was having a pretty small fix. So the fix is uh, okay, not this one. This one over here. So over here in the MUI data table, so in the data table we have like passed the data table column, which is actually the optional path. So what I did is in the current PR which I made, so in the current PR I actually have passed the uh, okay. So I actually have created the right. Yeah. No. Yeah, over here in the date in the table column. So I have also passed the column. So if someone tried to pass table column, and if it does not pass the table column, so it will actually get rendered with the column. So this was the small fix from my side. Yeah, that was it with the sphere. I guess some of the files is been pushed that has been not uh, supposed to be pushed. I will revert this, and this was actually the fix here. So,
Great feedback for Kaif.
I think that makes sense. Explain.
You're getting some head nods. Good. And they're going the good direction. Nice. All right. Hey, I didn't realize we're at end of meeting, right? End of time, but Amit, did you have a quick item to share?
Yeah, I will just quickly share now. So I did a small fix like that. The visibility chip that we use on the in all over Meshery and the canvas, there is a inconsistency all over this place. So I created one system component for the chip, and from the system component we are using it from all over the place like Meshery and the canvas. Like yeah, this is my just small fix on the UI.
Nice. All right, good. Well, so we are at time, and Lawrence, were you able to get the feedback that Abid had dropped? I'm not sure if you can.
No, I cannot view the message.
Yeah.
This says message sent before you join the meeting.
Actually, I will share you the screenshot of all thread. I can't paste it here for some reason.
Sorry about that.
No problem. So Abid, you'll send it in Slack probably. So that. All right, good. Well, hey, it's nice to meet some of you guys for the first time, and for some of the rest of you old farts, I guess it's good to see you again. Good. Hey, so today it's going to be a big week. So not only is it KubeCon India, but it's the .8 release week. So, oh yeah, get your Twitter warmed up. Get your Twitter handle warmed up. Like help spread the word about it when we make the release. So. Okay, cool. Well, hey, we'll catch everybody back in Slack. We'll see you next time. Yeah. See you guys.